Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Kelvin. In the last video, I talked about parentification, trauma bonding, and boundaries. Now I want to continue doing this little series I'm in, where I explain terms that are used in psychology, specifically in narcissistic personality disorder. Some of these terms I'm explaining are general terms in psychology. If somebody finds themselves in a toxic relationship or someone who's in an abusive relationship or anything of the sorts. So these are just terms that I'm going through. In this video specifically, I want to talk about a dynamic that children deal with if they're in a narcissistic household, be it their parents, their siblings, anybody. So these terms I want to talk about are the golden child syndrome and scapegoat. I wanted to talk about trauma dumping in this video, but after writing the script and all that stuff, doing my research, I feel like it's important to highlight the golden child and scapegoat separately from everything else because these two terms go hand in hand with each other when discussing an NPD household. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. So what is a golden child, or what is golden child syndrome? By definition, this refers to a child to the family that's regarded as exceptional in some way. This is done so parents don't have to hold accountable for their actions if it's toxic or abusive in any way, and they don't have to self-reflect at all. So basically, it's if you have toxic parents or anything like that, or a toxic guardian, doesn't even have to be a parent, and you're in the household and you're a child in the household, but you say you do something well, like say in school, for example, you get good grades or something along those lines, right? They're going to say it was because of them and because of how they raised you, not because you did it on your own or anything. It's because of what they did to get you in that position. So they'll take the credit for themselves, and you'll be referred to as the golden child, as in, look how you turned out. So what I'm doing can't be harmful in any way. You're doing so well in school, you have friends, you have a social life, all that stuff. And these roles, I forgot to mention earlier, are very prominent if in the household there are siblings or there are more than one person living there. So toxic parents will usually, more often than not, compare you to somebody else, and that could even be your own sibling or somebody else that lives in the house. Doesn't really need to be family, but it's more common that this happens in family households of narcissistic parents. So I found it interesting that while researching this role is mainly done so the parents, as I said earlier, doesn't have to take any of the accountability over their own actions. If there's harmful actions, abusive, toxic, it could they do it so they can tell other people around them, oh look, I'm such a great parent, look what so and so did, he's my son, he's my daughter, and I raised them so well, and they're just exceeding in life. I found it very interesting that one of the causes, or reasons rather, they do this, it's so they can't take responsibility for themselves. The next topic I'm going to talk about, and this is the last one, it's a direct contrast to a golden child, is the scapegoat of the family. So in direct contrast from a golden child in the family, the scapegoat of the family is the child that faces rejection because they're accused of being what the narcissistic parent rejects in themselves. So what does this sound like? It sounds like projecting. This is the child in the family that gets blamed for everything. It could be things that aren't even in their control. Say the family has finance issues, say they're always arguing with each other, the parents or the siblings or anything like that. Everything just gets blamed on this child. And earlier I brought up how these two terms often get brought up in a narcissistic household when there's more than one person living in it, as in siblings. And I'll just say siblings because it'll be a lot easier to explain. One sibling will be the golden child, everything does right. The parents will be like, see, I raised you right. How come you can't be like your brother or your sister? You know, they'll start blaming you for things that you don't really have control of because you're still what? You're still growing up. You're still processing everything. This could happen at any age. This could still this could be a problem throughout someone's life if they don't fully understand what NPD is, or that the parents like will never change. This is just who they are. They'll compare you to each other. They'll belittle you in front of everybody, and you'll just get blamed for all the problems in the household. Now, I brought this up just now, but again, I just want to reiterate the point that this is projecting. Anything that, say, a child happens, say it's a younger child, and they're just seeing what's around them. That goes back to what I said in, I believe, my inner child video, where you are the product of your environment. If you're at a certain age, you're still learning, your mind is still developing, it'll just take in everything around you. So what you think from your parent is normal could be completely opposite. It could be harmful to you. It could be harmful to everybody around you, but you don't know that, right? So you're just doing what your parents are doing, but because your parents are old enough to that age that they know that how you're acting is wrong, but you're only acting that certain way because you got it from them, right? But they'll never say that they're wrong. They'll just be like, "Yo, you need to get it together. Look at so and so." Like this, like everything that's going on around you in your life is because of you, essentially. Nobody else will take responsibility and all of that. So I just thought it was I just thought it was interesting too, because when I was researching Scapegoat, like obviously we all know what that term is. It's not just a term used in the mental health world. It's a term. It's a basic definition. It's just somebody that gets blamed for something that maybe it wasn't even their fault. They just get blamed for it. There's a scapegoat. But this situation happens more often than not in toxic households. And while researching it, I didn't really even think about it was it could have been a narcissistic parent or guardian or whoever just projecting their insecurities onto you. They say you were the reason that this happened and all that stuff, when in reality it wasn't your fault. It was the person that raised you. It was the person that maybe birthed you, that with your surroundings, everyone in your house, a certain person in your house, right? So I just wanted to emphasize that point. So that brings me to the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, put the notification bell on so you can get notified for my videos. Thank you so much for the support I've been receiving. It's really nice reading the comments and engaging with people. Thank you so much for 34 subscribers. Honestly, I'm just doing this because I feel like it's really important to talk about, and I feel like it's one of those things that don't get talked about much. So if this is helping anyone, that's the goal. It's really nice to know that some people out there are taking the time out of their day to watch this video. Please look at my other videos if you haven't. Again, I wanted to talk about trauma dumping in this one. I talk about trauma bonding in the other. But then again, I felt like after doing my research, it was only appropriate to do the golden child and the scapegoat in one video, because they are just so contrast and they're just parallel with each other. So with that being said, please continue to look out for future videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.